The French colonization of the Americas was a significant chapter in the history of European imperialism, spanning from the early 16th century through the late 18th century. Driven by the desire for trade, territorial expansion, and religious conversion, France established a series of colonies throughout the Americas. These colonies played a crucial role in shaping the continent's economic, cultural, and social landscapes, particularly in Canada, the Caribbean, and parts of the United States. While the French Empire eventually lost much of its territory in the Americas, its lasting influence can still be seen today in language, culture, and regional identities. Early French exploration and the search for wealth. The French interest in the Americas began in the early 1500s during the Age of Exploration, as France sought to rival Spain and Portugal in the race for global dominance. Early French explorers like Jacques Cartier and Samuel de Champlain ventured across the Atlantic in search of new trade routes, wealth, and territorial claims. Unlike Spain's focus on gold and conquest, France was more interested in establishing profitable trade networks, particularly in fur, fish, and timber, which were abundant in North America. Jacques Cartier and the St. Lawrence River, 1534 to 1542. In 1534, French explorer Jacques Cartier made the first of several voyages to what is now Canada, claiming the area for France. He sailed up the St. Lawrence River, where he encountered various indigenous peoples. Although Cartier did not establish a permanent settlement, his explorations laid the groundwork for future French claims to the region. Samuel de Champlain and the founding of Quebec, 1608. The real beginnings of French colonization came with the establishment of Quebec by Samuel de Champlain in 1608, marking the start of New France. Champlain's colony became the first permanent French settlement in the Americas. He established strong ties with the Huron and Algonquin indigenous peoples, creating a fur trade network that would be the backbone of New France's economy for years to come. The French approach to indigenous relations was often more cooperative than that of the English, as they relied on indigenous knowledge and labor to thrive in the challenging North American environment. New France, the expansion and decline of French America. The Great Lakes and Mississippi River Valley. As New France expanded, it spread westward through the Great Lakes and down the Mississippi River. French explorers like Robert de La Salle and Marquis de Beauharnois navigated vast areas of North America, claiming territory for France and establishing forts and trading posts. The French controlled an immense area, stretching from the St. Lawrence River in the north to the Gulf of Mexico in the south, encompassing parts of modern-day Canada, the United States, and Louisiana. This territory was often referred to as the Mississippi Valley or Louisiana in honor of King Louis XIV. The fur trade. The fur trade became the economic lifeblood of New France. French colonists and traders, known as coureurs de bois, would venture into the wilderness to trade with indigenous peoples, exchanging European goods for furs, especially beaver pelts. This trade was central to French colonial economy, allowing the French to build a profitable and expansive trade network. The colony also established agricultural settlements, although they never grew as large or as economically successful as those in Spanish or English colonies. Religious missions. Alongside economic activities, the French also sought to convert indigenous peoples to Catholicism. Jesuit and Recollet missionaries played a significant role in the spiritual and cultural life of New France. Although their mission faced significant resistance and often tragic results, their efforts laid the foundations for a Catholic cultural imprint in the region. French Caribbean colonies, sugar, slavery, and the transatlantic trade. While New France was focused on the North American continent, the French also established colonies in the Caribbean, which would become central to France's economic and imperial ambitions. These colonies were built on sugar production, which relied heavily on the labor of enslaved Africans. Haiti and the sugar trade. The French colony of Saint-Domingue, modern-day Haiti, was one of the most profitable colonies in the world, producing vast amounts of sugar, coffee, and indigo. By the 18th century, Saint-Domingue was France's richest colony and one of the largest sources of wealth in the Americas. However, the brutal system of slavery and the harsh working conditions led to significant unrest among enslaved Africans. This eventually culminated in the Haitian Revolution, 1791 to 1804, one of the most successful slave revolts in history, which led to the establishment of the first independent Black Republic, Haiti, and the end of French rule in the Caribbean. Martinique and Guadeloupe. The French also colonized the islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe, which remained under French control until the 20th century. Like Saint-Domingue, these islands relied on sugar plantations and the labor of enslaved Africans, and they remained integral to France's colonial economy in the Caribbean. Decline of French colonization in North America. Despite early successes, the French colonies in North America began to decline due to a combination of internal and external factors. Conflict with Britain. The 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, known in North America as the French and Indian War, was a major turning point. France lost much of its North American territory to Britain in the Treaty of Paris, 1763, including Canada and the Louisiana Territory. The loss of these territories marked the end of French colonial dominance in North America. Limited population growth. Unlike the English colonies, which had large populations of settlers, New France struggled with a relatively small French-speaking population. This hindered its ability to compete with English colonial ventures. French legacy in the Americas. Despite the eventual loss of French colonial possessions in the Americas, France's impact on the continent is still felt today. Language and culture. French remains the official language in Quebec, Canada, and parts of Louisiana, U.S., and French influence can be seen in the cultural practices, cuisine, and traditions of these regions. Architecture and place names. The legacy of French colonization is also visible in the architecture and place names across North America, from New Orleans to Montreal to Quebec City, which showcase the distinct French style and heritage. Legal and educational systems. In many former French territories, particularly in Canada, the civil law system, derived from French legal traditions, continues to shape the legal framework. French educational traditions also persist in these areas. The French colonization of the Americas was a complex and multifaceted endeavor that spanned several centuries. From its fur-trading roots in New France to its sugar-producing colonies in the Caribbean, France played a pivotal role in shaping the Americas' history. While French colonial power in North America diminished following its defeat in the 7 Years' War, the cultural, linguistic, and economic influences of French colonization endure in modern-day Canada, the United States, and the Caribbean. France's legacy in the Americas is a testament to its important role in the shaping of the New World.